There we go. All righty. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Um, I am Kristen Hadley, and this masterclass today is visioning with nature's wisdom for your best business, your best life, and best you. And I'm super excited to bring this to you today. We are recording, so I'll be sending out the recording. And I'm starting a little bit later because I just like to give people a chance to pop on. But as people join in, I'll let them in. And I like to start by holding space, right? So I lit my candle, I have it here. Amy and I were just joking about, hopefully no cats jump up and knock it over and start a fire. But I am super excited to be with all of you today. And Sophia is joining us. Wonderful. Hi, Sophia. Feel free to come on video if you'd like. I'm going to ask that we use the chat for communicating once we get started. But Sophia, certainly say hello. I'd love to hear your beautiful voice. You can come on camera the whole time, whatever works for you.
Yeah, let me just, I'm sorry, I got caught up with the work.
Yeah, no worry. So I would like to start today with gratitude and thank you, all of you, those of you who are here live with me, and those of you who are going to be listening by heart later. I want to thank you for coming together in kind, loving, and compassionate space. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to serve you, to support you, and share with you about how to manifest more of what you want in your life. And today we're going to talk about that, mostly including the aspect and the concept of visioning. And so I'd just like you to feel your feet on the ground and take a deep breath and drop into your body, drop into the chair that you're in. Let your energy just slow down and soften and be open. Feeling grateful for this space, this time, this opportunity to connect. Feeling connected with the animals in your family, the animals in nature that surround you outside of where you live, and that connect you all across the planet. And it's my intention that you receive just what you came for, just what you need over the next 2 days. And you may not know what that is yet. You may have an idea. Something sparked you to sign up and come. But it's my intention, and I'm going to ask that it's your intention also, that you receive exactly what you need from this opportunity here, from this time that we share. So what I'd love right now is to ask you to pop something that you are grateful for into the chat. Just something you're grateful for. We're going to use the chat for communicating. I am so grateful today for a beautiful weather day. It is just gorgeous here. It's 65 degrees. The sun was out. It's kind of hidden behind some gray sky right now, but 65 degrees in February is a treat, and I'll take it. Amy, family and friends. Yeah, I'm so grateful for my family and friends too. And I'm grateful for all of the connections, right? Like, this is how we make the world better, is we connect with others, animals, people, resources, right? And we work together to make the world better. And that's the cool thing about vibration, is we connect with those who share like vibration. And so we have similar intention. And here, if you're in my circles, it's an animal thing, right? It's an animal and nature thing. As well as, I will say, the understanding and the concept that we are here to expand. We are here on the planet to expand and to grow. Sophia, your animals, grateful for your animals, beautiful. I'm grateful for my animals too. So Visioning with Nature's Wisdom. We're going to do this over the next 2 days. And I really want to support you in thinking and feeling and acting all towards creating what it is you want in your life. And I've set this webinar time for 2 days at 2 hours each day. I don't know that we're going to need the whole 2 hours, but I didn't want to be rushed and jam it all in and then. So we have 2 hours if we need it today and then tomorrow. And the reason for doing 2 days is because I prepared a homework for you. I prepared a vision board template that you can fill in and create, which is really going to solidify what we do today. And I also prepared a workbook that has some delicious questions in it that are going to help you to focus on what you want and to vision about what you want and who you are becoming, who you already are as your best self, but really connecting with her so that you can create what you want in your life. And through visioning, I will tell you that you have the opportunity to go from wherever you are right now to where you want to be. That's in any aspect of life. That can be any aspect. That can be with regard to your health, with regard to money, with regard to relationships. And I will say also around communicating with animals, connecting with animals, that really falls under relationships. But I know sometimes it is a driving goal for people who come into my world. And visioning really helps with that too. Visioning can support you in becoming and creating what you want when it comes to your business. And if you don't have a business, with regard to your success, right? Creating something that you want. It also, visioning is amazingly powerful in supporting your mindset in every aspect of your life. And we need mindset in every aspect of our lives, right? Like think about it. In the morning when you get out of bed, the way you start your day is fully dependent on your mindset, right? So all of those areas are impacted um, by our visioning, by what it is we hold on the screen of our minds, right? And so I just want to say this too, and I'll touch on this in a little bit, but um, it took me a long time to comfortably talk about money in my circles and in my classes. And everybody has money resistance. And my resistance was that people were going to think that I was not spiritual or I was not focused on the right things if I talked about money in my circles. But you cannot talk about expanding and elevating your life, doing things in the world that help others, helping animals, helping people, if you don't include money. Because without money, it makes it really hard to create impact, right? Even Mother Teresa, right? Like her life was all in service. She had a lot of money. It cycled to her through avenues. It wasn't necessarily, she didn't call it hers and she didn't, you know, keep it and hoard it, or like she used it, but she had that as a resource so that she could do her good work in the world. So I just want to say we're going to talk about money, and sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about money, especially when you may come from like a spiritual background or a spiritual motivation, right? But it's in there, it's related. Money is really God in action. Money is just energy. We assigned it these coins and bills and all these things that, banks to hold it, et cetera, et cetera. But really, money is meant to be circulated. And where you circulate it is where you create impact. So I just want to say that because sometimes money can be a triggery thing for people. The other thing I want to mention is not everybody has a business. However, we are all born with gifts. And this visioning masterclass is about bringing your gifts forward, about really envisioning who you want to be, how you want to use your gifts. And that may be in regard to your own animals, to your human relationships, to a job that you have, to just your health, your own wellness, anything, right? But serving successfully is also what do I want to say, a synonym for having a business, having a spiritually based business, right? Does this make sense? to you guys? Does this, and go ahead and ask me questions or tell me what comes up for you as I'm talking about this. And go ahead and just type it in the chat. Um, one of the things about having a business, people may say, oh, I want to learn how to, great, Amy, it all relates. Perfect. And if you would, Amy and Sophia, type in about what your business, if you have a business, I don't know if you do, but type in what it is that your business is about, what you do. Um, and but what I wanted to say about having a business is so many people come to it and they say, come to animal communication, or they come to what their unique brilliance is. And they say, oh, but I have a job. I don't really want to do create a business. When you bring a gift forward, the next, I guess want to say the next level of growth is to be able to serve others. And the best way to do that is through creating a quote business, right? And when it comes to really being able to serve people, that's how we show up, and people can find us, right? When we have a business. I know people who say, oh, I just want to do animal communication just for the people that I know. Well, you run out of people that you know, right? And the people that you know are not always looking for help with their animals or help with their healing or Reiki or coaching or whatever it is that you may do, right? So I just want to say, if it's, and you both, Amy, you said you're working on starting a business to help others, mostly with tasks for the elderly, busy parents, and animal care. I love it. Love it. Sophia, animal communication. Yes. Beautiful. And you are a beautiful animal communicator. So I just want to say that, sometimes that business word can be triggery too, but business really just means serving in a way that you are able to create more impact for people. Because we know this too. Giving away your service is really kind and it's nice and it's sweet and you can do it for so long. But if you have had clients, if you have had people who paid you, you'll notice that the people who invest in themselves and the change that they want through you, they get better results. They take what you give them seriously. They really appreciate, they put it into motion. They value it, right? Because they're valuing themselves. So I wanted to just mention those couple of things as we start here. So we're all kind of on a clear plateau starting point around some things that might be a little triggery or things that might be a little confusing. So the other thing that we're going to do over the next 2 days is discover how nature is involved in all of this manifestation and visioning with us, right? And how nature and animals guide us. Animals help us to love ourselves. And they help us to understand ourselves and love ourselves and accept ourselves to the point of becoming the best person that we can be, and to hold the vibration of what it is we want to attract. It's one of these most amazing gifts that the animals bring. They do it effortlessly, right? And they are valuable partners in our work. They're valuable partners in our lives in so many ways. So today, I'm going to teach you principles of how your vision of you and your life creates your reality. And then we're going to do a beautiful meditation visualization with animals and nature to understand yourself from their perspective and align ourselves with that law, with the law of nature. And then identifying what you want in 6 specific areas of your life, right? Those areas, I mentioned them already: money, self-love, business and service, relationships, health, and mindset. Okay. And then you're going to have homework, which I already talked about, and I'll tell you about that more at the end. And then, so I'd like you to do the homework tonight and bring it back tomorrow. And then tomorrow, we're going to go over principles of being, knowing, and doing, and then a visualization, a really beautiful visualization meditation of your best self. And we'll do a Q&A. And then I'm going to share how I can help you to create what it is that you want in your business or in your life or around your relationship with animals. And if that's something that you would like to do. So, let's keep this interactive. Ask questions, answer my questions, share as we go along here as you are inspired to do. That'd be just great. So my first question is, who decides that you are worthy of what you want to be, who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have? Who decides that? You do, right? It's already been decided, right? It's already been decided. It was decided when you came into this world, when you came into that beautiful body that you are in, right? That body that is just perfect the way that it is right now because it's yours, it's you, right? And many of us know this concept and this material, but it isn't about knowing it, it's about embodying it. And so often we go around like beating ourselves up about not being good enough or not being healthy enough or not being more motivated or not being able to handle this or blah, 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 you know? And we do this whole comparison thing. And that kills our vision, right? It absolutely taps down our vision. We stop seeing ourselves as worthy. We stop feeling worthy when we start comparing ourselves with others and noticing the things that are wrong or the things that aren't the way that we would love them to be, right? So, and this visioning, being able to hold that vision plays the most important role in you creating what you want, right? So it's about changing your mindset and your thoughts, which ultimately change how you think and you feel about yourself and the world around you. And when you start feeling differently about yourself in the world, you start having a different experience in the world, right? And that's what changes your life. We do a lot of daydreaming about what we would love. And what tends to happen, and I'm going to ask the question here, I'm wondering if anybody identifies this, that it happens for you. When you start daydreaming about what you would love, when you think about like, oh my gosh, I would love, and then it pops into your mind and you think about that. And what happens about 3 to 8 seconds after you start thinking about what you would love in any aspect of your life? What tends to happen? Distraction, yes, absolutely. Um, Talking myself out of it. You got it. Yes. Distraction, beautiful. The two top things that happened. We aren't used to holding that vision of what we want on the screen of our mind, right? It's a discipline. It's like a willpower. It's like a focus, right? And we talk ourselves out of it because as soon as we envision it, as soon as we think about it, oh, I would love to have a house on Key West, right? Just made that up. Immediately, oh my gosh, but how's that going to happen? I've got too many responsibilities here. How am I ever going to gather up all the money for that? It's just such a pain in the ass to even think about buying real estate out of state. Like, right, we start talking ourselves out of it. And that is our number one mistake, talking yourself out of it and not holding that on the screen of your mind. What you see happening in your life all around you is a result of what you hold on the screen of your mind. All right. Can you see that happening? I want you to look around at your life. I want you to look around at your experiences and notice how what you are experiencing is a result of what you see it hold in your mind's eye and how you think about yourself and you think about your life. And so it's a really beautiful thing. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, you've done it wrong or whatever. No, you haven't. That's why we're here. We're learning, we're growing. And it's also why we're here on the planet, because we as human animals are the ones who have been given opposable digits, right? We've been given the gift of spoken language to make it really easy and quick in all the ways, right? And to be able to immerse in this way to reach many people. right? We have been given the power of imagination. I'm not saying that animals don't imagine, but animals don't necessarily have the purpose this lifetime to create expansion for life here, right? They expand their own lives and they're constantly evolving. But we as humans, we've been given the gift of imagination. And so that's a power. And that is what visualizing is all about, right? Visioning is all about using the power of our imagination. Charlotte is here and my candle is here. And Amy, what I tell you, put it over here. Oh, Charlotte, she's funny. So we do a lot of daydreaming about what we love, right? And thoughts come in about it'll be too hard, or oh my gosh, it's going to suck the life out of me, or I'll never make the time, I'll never have the time. And so, what I want you to do is, I want you to think about what it is that you would absolutely love and to focus on it so much that it absolutely has to happen in your life. And we all have the power to do this. Anything that keeps you from feeling joy and peace and abundance and prosperity is just an old belief system that may not even be yours. It may be a belief system that was taught to you by loving family members, right? It may be a belief system that was given to you and shared with you from a cultural connection, from experiences that you had when you were a young person. But it's just an old belief system, and it doesn't have to be yours just because it was someone's that you loved, right? Just because it belonged to someone that you love, it doesn't mean that it has to be yours anymore. So it's a human thing, and our humans are here to learn and understand and move beyond that limitation, right? This is what spiritual growth is. This is what ascension is. And I want to tie in here about the money thing too. I love working with healers, animal communicators, spiritual entrepreneurs, people who want to improve the lives of people and animals and love the planet, right? Because you're aware of the spiritual growth. You are aware, and creating prosperity through that work is a part of the spiritual growth. Because as you do create that prosperity, you start to value yourself. We can say, oh my gosh, I'm going to, really work on my spirituality. I'm really going to hold this vision for what I want to create in my health and my wellness and my spirituality and all the things, right? And we can stick with that. Worthiness, worth. When you think about worth, we have assigned as humans money to the meaning of worth, right? And I'm not saying that you are worth money, although you are. But I'm not saying that self-worth is all based on money. What I'm saying is that we have a dichotomy in our minds. We have a semantic concept in our minds about what worth is. And relating, giving yourself permission to expand what is possible for you around your self-worth and around money is a gift to yourself. All right. That is also a part of spiritual growth. I believe in manifestation. I believe in moving more quickly than you ever thought was possible, right? Like it happens when you begin to focus. And I just want to say too, oh, cat. Yep. Oh my God. I know you guys get it. I want to ask, there's an incredible essence that flows to and through everything, right? It's source, it's universal energy, it's God, it's whatever you want to call it. You can type in the chat what you call that source energy. For the longest time, I didn't want to use the term God because I didn't want to alienate anybody. But really, that's my term. And so I'm just owning it and calling it. But I sometimes say source, I sometimes say universal energy. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. And that flows to and through all of us, making us all the same. This is the oneness. And this is what I was talking about before, Sophia, you got on. Amy and I were talking about there's turtles and how, these beautiful beings who share the planet with us, they are amazing spiritual beings just in different bodies. There's no difference. They just have different interests this time around. They have different abilities and expertise and specialties and limitations as well. We're just different. But that universal energy flows through all of us, and that oneness. That's why I love working with spiritually aware people. You get the oneness piece. And there is no reason, if we are all connected and we can all be one with turtles and bats and horses and cats and earthworms and other humans, then we can be one with anybody we want to be, anything we want to create, right? We can be one with anything that we want to have, be, do, experience in our lives. So I love it, because the beautiful people like you, who are the animal people who come into my world and into my circles and into my programs, this is something that you all get on a cellular level. You get that. And you've probably gotten it your whole life. There's no difference between animals, plants, or spirit, except for the body that we're in, the form we're taking. And that's because we have specific things to do in this lifetime, right? Specific things to care about or be interested in, and specific things that don't matter to us. But the sentience is all the same. So I want you to be thinking about, as we go here and all night long tonight, what is it that you really, really want in your life? What is it that you really, really want to be and do and have and create? And as we're talking here, go ahead and just type in the chat and add to this conversation, right? I want to hear from you. What's percolating for you as I'm talking about this? That source energy that I'm talking about, that God energy, universal energy, is what we use to create, right? Naturally, and with our creative minds. And as humans, we've been given wildly creative minds. I'll tell you, I've met animals who have amazing creative ability. I met a cat who was able to design architecture. I've met horses who can, you know, like really create concepts and around healing, concepts around healing. All animals do this, giving guidance, guidelines, and creative solutions for setting up healing grids for their people or other animals in their families, or even for themselves. Sophia says, how to connect the dots and bring energy into making it work. Yeah, I love it, Sophia. I hope that this connects dots for you, right? You know, and once they're connected, trust that they're connected and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Right? Because sometimes we fall into that, you know, like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And then we forget, or we forget that it works. It transfers to other situations. So, yeah, our imagination is what allows us to visualize. And he says, same, I have so much going on that I need to find a way to center myself and bring all of my lives together to be successful, not only in business, but to bring happiness and joy to my own life. Yes. Yes. Amy, I love that. You are going to love the homework for tonight. I'm telling you, it brings it all together. Brings it all together. So over today and tomorrow, I want you to let your mind go. All right. And I want you to right now let your mind go, and thinking about these shares that you just made about connecting the dots and having it all make sense, bringing it all together, and then needing to find a way to center yourself and connect all the different lives, right? All the different aspects of you, so you have more happiness and joy and fulfillment, satisfaction. I want you to just daydream, feel your feet on the ground for a minute and just daydream about what you would love. What would you love? What would you love? And type it in the chat. Just let it riff. Let yourself just riff. What would you love? Right now, I would love a house in a warm climate, um, possibly Charleston, South Carolina, not sure. But that's what's coming up in my mind, and it's kind of coming in lots of different opportunities around that. I would love that, and I would love to have the ability to live in here and there. And it might be I don't know, it might be somewhere else. It might be North Carolina, maybe Georgia. I don't know. Got to be careful about where in those states, but the warm weather calls me. I would love to have a horse sanctuary. That is something on my vision board. It is something that I just cannot wait to do, to give back and really be able to fund that, um, and and support the amazing, amazing beings, the horses on the planet. Um, I want to be surrounded by all kinds of animals on a huge piece of land. Everyone would get along and money would magically appear so I can rescue all the suffering animals. I love it. Yes. I want you to think about the money magically appearing, okay? Because it can magically appear, but and we're going to talk about this more, right? There's the vision, there's creating the demand for it, right? And there's feeling like it's already here, feeling like it's coming, trusting that it's coming, and then getting yourself into action on shifting the energy so that that money can come in. All right. So I'm not saying there is nothing hard about that. Absolutely not. It's about getting all your thoughts and your imagination aligned with your feelings and your actions. Okay. I love it, Amy. Sophia, I'd love a successful animal communication business where I can buy a home with a small farm. Beautiful, Sophia. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to support you in defining a little bit more about what successful means, right? We can measure success in all different ways. The universe is very literal. God's source energy is very literal. Ask and you shall receive. So if successful means that you help a lot of people, help a lot of animals, and haven't defined what that means in terms of what comes into your life, then it's going to be undefined, right? So I'm going to support you in defining what would successful mean. Pick a number. It might be a number of clients you have that get you to a certain level of income so that you have a down payment or a full payment for that house. It might be a dollar amount, right? It might be a certain amount of money within a certain amount of time, but the universe is very literal in bringing to us what it is that we want. And so get very, very specific, right? And that's another thing. We as women were probably taught, raise your hand, tell me if you heard this, right? Like not to ask for too much, not to ask for more than you need, never ever take more than you're going to use, and don't be greedy, don't be presumptuous, don't take any more than you need because you're going to take it away from other people. That familiar to anybody? It shows up in what we ask for when we're talking with infinite source, right? Like we still hold ourselves back. We still choke it down and say, oh, I'll just take what I'm given, And when you look around, like I bet we've all done really well so far, just kind of taking what's been given, But when you start to know and really trust, she's trying to drink out of she's trying to drink out of this. You can't drink out of this, sweetheart. You can't use a straw. You have water in the other room. When we start to really get specific and ask for what we want, what's the harm in it? You know what? And I'm going to tell you something. You don't even have to tell anyone else. Sometimes this can be like a stretch exercise, right? Like, I don't want to tell anybody that I really want $10 million because they're going to think that I'm nuts or I'm a money hungry bitch, right? No, but you need that kind of money in order to have a horse sanctuary. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking, and you don't have to share it with anybody who would ever question or diminish, second guess, or want to tap down your dream. Okay, so get specific, and balance your. I was going to say balance the masculine and the feminine, right? Because you as a woman can ask for all that you want, all that will fill you up, because I know that you will do great things with it, right? Like if women ran the world, all the cats and the horses and the dogs would be saved, all the chickens and the cows and the pigs, and the oceans would be clean, and there would be peace, and no children would be hungry, and it would be beautiful, right? And I'm not anti-men. I'm not anti-men. I just don't know that they know how to do it. Simply said. But here, this is another thing about asking for what we want. Animals, they do take what they need. And sometimes they take more than what they need, right? Like there is a squirrel outside of my house who has been so freaking busy for months, months. She has more nuts and more storage than she is ever going to use. And I will find them all buried out in my yard when I'm raking and mowing and all of that, right? But like it's there, so they take it up, right? When a whale comes up and a whale comes up to get the krill, right? Like that whale opens her mouth, his mouth, as big as they possibly can. And they're like, oh, fill me up, right? They don't say, oh, I'm only going to have a little bit because this whale over here isn't going to get enough, like, no, it's not like that. We put limits on it. We've been taught to limit abundance. We've been taught that abundance is limited, and it's not. So let your mind go. What else would you love? What about, I don't know, if you could go get yourself anything today, right? I would love to take my kids on a surprise vacation to Costa Rica. It's something I would just love to do. And I'm working on it. And, my biggest thing is not setting it in motion, because that's what I was taught, is that you don't start towards something until you have everything you need to make it go, like the dates and the whatever. But I have learned that you start before you're ready. You create the demand before you know all the answers. You get into motion before you know how it's all going to come together. That's how we manifest. That's how we create things, right? We are the catalyst, and stepping into action, stepping into motion with belief and trust, that's what creates this everything opening up and coming our way. So, any questions, anything popping up into your minds here as I'm talking? Is this making sense? Is this good? And you can come off mute if it's easier, if you want to share. Makes sense for you? Great, Amy.
Silly question.
Yeah.
Silly question that has nothing to do with much. I never wear pink, and you're wearing pink, and I want to know what Amy's wearing. And I know Amy, so I can make a joke like that. But
Good,
'cause yes, I find it a very like soothing, healing color, and I rarely wear it.
Mhm.
And you're wearing it, so I was just curious about the resonance. Yeah.
Yes. Amy,
Silly.
Aunt's wearing pink. I love pink. Sophia, it's not a silly question. It's it's how things happen, right? Like there is no coincidence. Um, and like attracts like, right? I happen to love pink. It's one of my favorite colors. I just find so much. Amy says I'm wearing a dirty t-shirt covered in blue hair dye. Try to use your phone so you can have a working camera. Awesome. Yeah. That's so funny. Blue and pink go great together, Amy. I love it.
I'm sure there's a little pink in there anyway. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so I want to shift here for a bit into the universal laws. And are y'all familiar with the universal laws, what they are? Have you heard of them? I mean, probably heard of them some, a little bit, a lot of it. I don't know. Anyway, they are, yes, they're kind of like in the movie The Secret. Yes. But The Secret talks about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is actually the 10th universal law. It is not the foundational law. All right. So there's the law of cause and effect. These are fascinating, by the way. And why I love them. Let me tell you why I love them and why I love teaching about them. and bringing it into my coaching and my programs, whether it's animal communication or business coaching or money coaching or whatever. It's getting chilly. The sun's going away. They are, nature governs these, and nature doesn't screw around. Like, these are law. There is no messing around with it. They absolutely are true, and there is evidence of them all around us. And as humans, without understanding of the natural laws, we get into opposition with energy. We get into opposition with creation. We get into opposition with ourselves. We get into opposition with movement in our lives, with the energy in interacting with others. And when you understand the universal laws, the natural laws, you can move into flow, just into flow, and everything starts to work in your favor. Everything starts to work out for you. Like, really, coming across the bridge of incidents is everything that you need. So these are the law of cause and effect, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which I'm going to talk about mostly today, the law of vibration, rhythm, relativity, assumption, infinite supply, the law of expression, the law of gestation or the in-between, the law of attraction, the law of non-resistance, and the law of manifestation. And while they're all related, they're built upon each other. Okay. So the law of perpetual transmutation of energy is the one that I'm going to focus on today. And that is the second law, built on the law of cause and effect. And the law of perpetual transmutation of energy really means, translated to, thoughts become things, right? And I'm going to talk about this for a little bit, and then we're going to do a beautiful meditation with the animals in nature to really align ourselves with that law. It means turning concept thought into an actual thing, an actual something you can touch, or an experience you can have, something you will be, you will actually embody. I love the word embody, right? Like, in my body, I am in that body, I am. So anything that's held on the screen of the mind will transform into physical form, into the 3D world, right? So I say physical form, but into your experience here in this 3D world by law. And like I said, nature doesn't mess around with this stuff. What affects whether or not that concept, that thought transmutes into the physical world is how long you hold the vision, right? How long you hold the vision. And I want to speak to that for a minute, because so often, we have monkey mind all over the place, and we have lots of thoughts. And like the example I gave earlier, when you start dreaming about what it is you would really love, the first thing that happens is, oh, but I can't have that. I don't have the time, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the qualifications, or up there, right? So we don't hold it in our minds for very long. I am willing to bet that it is about, I'm going to say 8 seconds. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you hold it longer when it happens for you, unless you're really seriously working at it, right? Unless you're in a visualization process or whatever. But we undermine it. We stop thinking about it, right? So I'm giving you the permission to never stop wanting. Never stop thinking about what you want. Never stop upgrading your thoughts and self-correcting, course correcting, right? When you dream about having that successful business, when you dream about having $5,000 come in this month through your animal communication business, I don't know, I just picked that number. You might do that already. I have no idea. I just picked that number. When you dream about that, when you think about that, don't start thinking about how it's not happening. Give yourself permission to hold that. Give yourself permission to make it your screensaver. Give yourself permission to meditate on it. Create a voice loop that you play over and over again in your ears as you're drifting off to sleep. I'm not kidding, right? Herein is the work that you're going to do tonight with your vision boards. Never stop wanting and never stop upgrading your thoughts. Our job as humans here, improving the world with very, very, very important purposes, right? You guys are animal people. You want to help animals and people. You're healers. Like, that is the best work ever. We don't need another shoe store. We need you. We need us. We need to be present and prosperous on the planet so we can help people, right? So the perpetual transmutation of energy means really that everything is always moving. So it's like we're here in this like movement of soup, this universal kind of cosmic blah, 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 that's constantly moving. Everything is vibrating and things are coming to us. Opportunities are coming to us. We just have to match up and align and be ready to meet them and receive them or experience them. And I want you to think about it like this. So, concept that whatever is held in the screen of the mind manifests into physical form. It's like water. It's like steam is, you can't see it, right? Well, you can see little particles of it, but anyway, it's expansive. It's really intense. It's very powerful. It can burn the heck out of you, right? Very intense. Our thoughts are very intense, very powerful. They can love you, they can harm you, right? So steam is the thought, and then it can change, and as it changes it becomes more fluid, right? And it becomes the water, and then it appearing 3D here in this 3D world, it becomes ice, right? So our thoughts go from one thing to another. That's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Nothing stays constant. Everything is always changing. Everything is always occurring, right? It's up to us. There is responsibility in this. And it's like within our bodies, right? We're sitting here, but our cells are constantly changing and disintegrating, and new ones are coming and renewing and refreshing and shedding and then regrowing, like just constantly. You're always manifesting. We're always creating. When we think intentionally and we really focus on the direction we want to go, we're going to move that energy differently. So you're either always creating or always disintegrating. Back to my example. You say, what would I love? I would love to make $5,000 in my business this month, or I would love to have a vacation for 5 days where nobody contacts me. I'm just all out on this place, this island by myself, right? That thought, you got to give it more hang time. You got to give it more live time, right? Because you're either creating it or you're disintegrating it and saying it's never going to work. I don't have it. I can't do that. It's not possible for me. I've got too many other blah, 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 all the stuff, right? So that disintegration process of what we visualize and what we would love, what we want, it's really self-sabotage. And my guess is you see it in people around you. Raise your hand if you can notice self-sabotage more easily in other people than you can in yourself. I know I certainly can. Yes, right? Really easy to spot, especially when you're on a spiritual journey. You will notice it everywhere. People limiting themselves because you know what's possible, because you believe it's possible, because you know that anything is possible. We just deny it for ourselves, right? That's the dark side. We deny it for ourselves. So you're probably really an excellent coach and an excellent at counseling and guiding others and supporting others, healing others. And sometimes we can be like the most love-starved beings, right? We starve ourselves of that same acceptance and and vision. So is this making sense? This good, making sense? Is it, as I'm speaking, as I'm sharing this, is it like bringing some things up to the surface for you? Is it helping you to kind of shine a little bit of light on what you might be doing, or how you might want to shift, how you might want to change things that you're actually experiencing?
Yes, and I think self-sabotage for me is a big one. Still working on it, processing, getting better. But yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, get really, Sophia, like it's okay to notice all the ways and write them down. And we tend to
Mhm.
perfectionize also, right? Like, and then we'll be like, oh, damn it,
Yeah.
I did it again. I might as well just toss the whole thing out the window.
Yes, that's a big one for me. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, oh, I'm never going to say I can't again, or I'm never going to say, and then we do, or like, oh, so it just, oh, well, course correct, right? Um, I had a client one time. She was an elderly woman, and she was so terrified that she had held a negative thought and caused her animals to be sick. She was terrified that that was her fault. And, you know, my heart broke for her. Um, because really, no matter what I said, no matter what I understood from her animals, that what was going on for them was their journey. It had really nothing to do with her, other than she was the loving source who could guide them through it and hold them through it and give them the love that they needed. But she was convinced that because she had held this negative thought or had a negative thought, it's not about always being happy, and it's not about always being positive, like that's impossible. And quite honestly, if people really did show up that way 24/7, you probably wouldn't like them. I mean, we're all real. I go through my crap. But I don't stay in it, right? And that's a commitment I've made to myself, is I don't talk crap about myself anymore. I don't say this is hard. Instead, I ask, how could this be easy? And when I start thinking about, oh, this situation, sucks with my kid, or with whatever, the plumbing broke in the basement, I don't say, oh my God, this sucks. I say, okay, what would I love? Right. And immediately all kinds of and things change. The right people show up, the right opportunities, the money comes in, right? The conversation with my kid ends up like, he calls and he's like, hey mom, I really wanted to ask your advice. Like, oh yes. Right. But because I asked, what would I love? And that's what I started thinking about. Right. So it's not about, you can't ever have a negative thought, right? We're human and it happens. And that's the law of relativity, right? If we didn't have a negative thought, we wouldn't know what a positive thought is. So it's just about becoming aware and choosing something different, choosing what really serves you to be going on inside your mind, right? It's not about being fake and bubbly and always, although my money archetype is connector. That's my main money archetype. And there is a quality about always having like eternal faith and optimism. And that's something that I'm really proud of. I like that about me. I'm going to ask you guys right now, like, what is something you really like about you? What is something that innately is you, that you really like about you, that you see as a pattern in your life, or something that uplifts yourself or others, makes things, I don't know, what do you really like about you? You can talk or you can type, doesn't matter. Mm, I'm kind. Yes. Yes, you are kind. Kindness is a value. Kindness is one of my values. Um, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Amy, you said, I need to focus. I'm always all over the place. Yeah, great noticing, right? Great noticing. That's all we can do, is notice and then decide to do something a little bit different. Great. I guess my focusing on rescuing animals. Yeah. What is it? What is it that drives that for you, Amy? What is it that drives that for you, rescuing the animals, helping the animals? What is it about you? Because I bet it doesn't just show up around the animals. I bet it shows up around others as well, other
Yeah.
situations. Mm.
She rescues people a lot too.
See?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, just think about putting a word on it. I don't want to tell you what the word might be. I don't want to give you a definition, but the more you can, but you only like animals.
She likes me too, though.
Yes,
He's
yes.
rescued me a few times. So.
And if you select humans, the humans who are more like animals, right? Like I get it. That's what I'm saying. These are my people. We like to pretend we're animals. We like to get in the bodies and be in the experiences of animals. It's awesome. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. But Amy, I just want to support you in pick a label, right? Like pick a word. You really love to help animals and you're really good at it, I'm imagining. And you really love to support people. What might it be? Is it kindness? Is it compassion? Is it deep understanding? Is it being loving? Is it always trusting and knowing there's a better way? I don't know. You decide, and you can think about that tonight. And when it hits you, bring it and share it. You know. Um, So, um, every thought you have becomes a match for source energy. It may not be a match for what you want. So, every thought you have is like a magnet to source energy. It may not line up with what it is that you want. Okay. And that's our job. So, as soon as you think it, boom, things start to line up and start coming that way, which is why you then start to feel crummy if you have a crummy thought, right? Think a crummy thought, think a downer thought, think, oh, this is never going to work thought. Then you start to feel like, oh, because you're lining up the energy. Your body responds, the energy around you responds, the weather responds, your cat responds, your digestive system responds, like everything starts resonating. So, every thought you have, the universe hears and begins responding. So it's not about don't have the negative, uncomfortable thoughts. It's about shift them, become aware, and start building the muscle to think about something different. And the best catalyst to get to something different is, what would I love instead? What would I really love instead? This sucks. What would I love instead? And let yourself go there. Okay. Um, I want to I want you to think about the three people closest to you, right? And what I'm talking about here is consciousness, right? And what is in our consciousness, and we are in charge of what's in our consciousness. And just this last 10 minutes of discussion here is all about discovering your consciousness. What are the thoughts you think? How do you feel about you? What is your process when you think a thought? Do you hold on to it? Do you let the feelings overwhelm you? Or do you move on to something that you would love? Or do you begin to take action in a direction that you want to go in, or towards that thought that's better, or that outcome that's better? So that's consciousness. It's the whole shebango, right? So I want you to think about the three people closest to you, or even one person, doesn't matter. And what do you notice about their consciousness, their thoughts, and their energy? Right? Sometimes it's easier to notice these alignments and misalignments in others than it is for ourselves. But by being an observer, being a student of life, we can learn so much about ourselves by witnessing others and watching others. And so just think about, what do you notice about this? Sometimes, well, let me say one thing too. This is why animals are just so damn fun to be around, because most of them have the most expansive, free, clean, loving, clear, aware consciousness that they just don't carry a lot of shit, you know? Not that they haven't lived through a whole bunch of hard things, because many of them do, but they don't carry a lot of crap. And Sophia, I know you are really, really good at giving the animals space who need space around releasing, shedding, processing whatever it was that they have been through, so that they can have more of that time in clear consciousness, right? I don't mean clear conscience, but clear consciousness, open, loving consciousness, healing. I know that you're really, really good at that. And you notice that, like, it's another one of your superpowers. Um, so just an example, like I notice some of my family members. Actually, I'll talk about my ex-husband. No, I won't talk about it in a bad way, but his consciousness is so different than mine. like lack and limitation, um, just resistance and struggle and like, and it's so interesting because his thought processes are like that. And he is well, he's a teacher now, but he was a landscape architect, landscape designer. And oh my God, the guy would dig for 13 hours a day. Just dig, dig. And the boulders that he could move, he's like himself. I couldn't even believe it, but I'm like, oh my God, your consciousness is creating your work. It's showing up in every single day. Like everything was hard. It's just so aware. And it, I, anyway, I won't go down that road, but I'm kind of being funny, but I'm really being serious. Just you become aware of what other people are living out because of their consciousness. So notice it in others and then begin to look at yourself. Everything that we see in others, that mirror, is something that we can reflect on for ourselves. We may not do it the exact same way, but how is that showing up in my life? And what do I want to do with it? Do I want to keep thinking about it, keep holding that belief or that thought, or do I want to change it and shift it? And his thing was you really, really had to work really, really, really hard to make just enough money and have just enough, very little bit of free time to enjoy the people in your life. And that was his belief, and that's what happened. You know? So does this make sense? Anybody have anything you want to say? All the divulging the secrets of Kristen's life. Okay. And the funny part is, like, we can joke about that now, you know, like he sees it and he shifted his work because I said, not for me. Um, you know, and he decided he didn't like it either. So after he changed his his plan. So okay. Um, here's just an example too. Like, you know, people who are like doing Groundhog Day, you know, like they manifest the same thing in relationships over and over and over again, right? Or they manifest the same things, they create the same situations in their bank accounts over and over and over again, right? People who, you know, they win the lottery and then they go broke. Nothing has changed about their awareness. Or you know, people who go to work, they have a job, they have a job, they go to work and they complain about it, they don't like it, but they don't do anything to change it, right? And they just come home and they do their thing and they never think outside the box, and it's just like so limiting. So we are here, you are here, I am here because we want something different. So this is one of the things I'm going to ask you to journal on and think about and take into your vision board tonight is, you know, what do you notice are your most consistent or prominent thoughts about yourself, right? Most consistent or prominent thoughts about yourself. And I'm just going to ask you as I ask these, if you just type something into the chat. First thought, best thought. Your most consistent or prominent thoughts about yourself. About your health. I'll back up. I'm going to share mine. Most persistent or prominent thought about me. I find myself always being the forever student, forever growing, right? And while I like that, I think that's good. It's also okay to decide that I've already arrived. It's already happening. All the things that I want to be, do, and have are already happening. And giving myself permission to be there and claim that is my new thought. And about health. What are your most consistent or prominent thoughts about money? Amy, everything I think lately is negative. I want my new thoughts to be positive. Beautiful. Beautiful. So make them positive. Can you ask yourself, what would I love instead? When you catch yourself thinking that thought, just think about, what would I love instead? And it takes practice because you might not, you know, there's that in between, right? That law of gestation. There's an in between. It doesn't mean like, oh, bingo, I'd really love, you know, an extra $20,000. It doesn't mean that it's going to be in the mailbox tomorrow, but the more you think it, the more you're lining up with that coming your way. right? If you, the more you think about it, I'd really love to have some free time without any commitment or responsibility. I don't know if that's something for you, but I'm just, just like rest and relax, chill, not take care of anybody, if you're thinking, oh my God, I never have enough time, you're not going to see the opportunities for that. You're not going to see the
Mm.
opportunities for the rest and the relaxation and the downtime. So just begin to change the thoughts. What about your business, your own success, or about your relationships? Um, if you were going to trade in a thought, what would that thought be? Thought you want to trade in for a new one? I have a thought. I have a money thought that I realized about 3, 4 years ago. And that was that the only way that I would have like wild amounts of wealth in my life, and that equals freedom, financial freedom, right? Like really being able to give generously, have all my needs met, all my wants met, and really give generously. I thought that two things. One, I would have had to have been born into a trust fund situation, or that some secret family member from somewhere that I don't know would have to die and leave it to me. Like I thought, right? That was my thought. And it was given to me by my mother. Um, but because I certainly we didn't come in thinking that stuff. It's from TV and our parents and all the things, right? That we learn that. But like that, that's just a thought. Like, this is up to me. I can create wealth. I can create wealth easily. I'm really good at what I do. I have tons of ideas. I help people all the time. Like, and it's about helping people. I love to help people. The more I help people, the more the cycle happens, right? So like I noticed that, I uncovered that. And I've been on this path a long time. And I uncovered that one, 3 or 4 years ago, well into my path. And it changed my life. It changed what I think about, right? I see opportunity. I don't see limitation when it comes to that. Um, so think about what thought would you trade in, and what would be a better thought that serves you more. You cannot create a life of abundance and prosperity through lack and limitation. They just don't match. So, going back to the water example, right? If you hold a thought of steam, and steam, you've got like this much thought, this much steam is here, right? You can only make this much ice. Like that's the law. You can't hold the thought here and create something different down here. You can't hold a thought that's this much steam and only create this much ice. It's going to create this much ice, right? Like they align. That's and that water example just really kind of drives it home for me in terms of the visual, right? But you can't create a different substance from that. So does this make sense?
Mhm. Yeah,
All
sure
right.
does.
Um, so these are just some new thoughts. I jotted some things down. Um, I work less and I make more money. You can just try these on for size and use them for, fodder for your own thoughts. Being loving creates a loving lifestyle. I am health. Not I am getting healthy, but I am health. Money loves me and I take excellent care of money. I circulate money when I pay for things, and money loves circulating. Anybody ever get like that feeling like when you're going to pay bills, or you have to go to the grocery store and your bill's like $160 and you were planning on being 100, and you're like, oh God, I hate paying the electric bill. you know oh, those kids, they left the lights on again, all the stuff. But switch the thought. Switch it to, I really love being able to move money today, because as soon as I move it, it's going to come back to me. It's already started coming back to me, right? Like shifting the thought. um Staying balanced as you manifest, and where and when you hold that vision. Like I stay balanced when I manifest. I can hold a thought in my mind, a picture in my mind consistently. This is the feminine work, you guys, right? Like this is the work that births things. The masculine part we have to do, which is going out and taking action on something and actually putting the, pedal to the metal, pounding the pavement and actually doing it. But this feminine work about visioning it and creating it, we forget how valuable this is. But there would be no life if there was no feminine, right? There will be no manifest if there is not the feminine process of visioning it first, right? So start your day in the feminine, journal, do a visualization, then move into the masculine, and not all day. Like you can't go do it all day. It's freaking exhausting. I don't care how much energy you have. I don't care what your human design is either. You cannot work all day and actually create. Take breaks, take lots of breaks, take meditation breaks, take breaks to go out in nature. It works. So, I just want to give you a couple of strategies here. You can't delete anything from your mind, right? So don't worry about like annihilating a thought or having to backtrack, but you can choose differently, right? You can just say pause. And I know in that Silva Mind Control, they say cancel, cancel, right? It's a wonderful, wonderful self-regulation, right? Self-regulating is, oh, I cancel that. Nope. And then what would I love instead? And you replace that thought or that vision with a positive one, right? The most powerful question is, what would I love? Any questions or thoughts coming up for you guys? And we're going to move into a meditation here in a minute. I want to speak to being sensitive and emotional, because the people in my world are sensitive, emotional people. We tend to really thrive in those situations, which is why you're animal communicators and close with animals and why you're healers. And it's why you are very successful in some relationships, and some relationships are really, really freaking hard, right? Because you feel it all. You can't just barrel through and bully through. And I want to say that that is a superpower. Being sensitive and being emotional is my superpower. It's what has allowed me to create the businesses I've created, to have the inner success that I have, to feel things and understand them, from a like philosophical standpoint too. Like, and I was told for the longest time in my life that that was not the way it was, that I was too much, I was too sensitive, I was too expressive, I was too inquisitive, too curious, too emotional, all this stuff. And it's like, oh my God, I was just born wrong, And it's not true. And it's a superpower because, well, for lots of reasons, right? You're excellent as intuitives. You are excellent as therapists, as healers, as counselors, as communicators. You're also excellent at manifesting. And I'm going to say, I will challenge anybody here, live or listening, that because I will say this, I know it is true that because you are sensitive, you are emotional, you have a deep, deep ability to feel, you are the most powerful manifestors on the planet, because that's what it takes to do so. You have to create the vision, right? And then you have to feel it. You have to feel like it's here. You have to feel what it's like to experience being on the beach in Costa Rica, going through the rainforest, to feel what it's like to have spaciousness in your week, right? And not be running in a million different directions. To feel what it's like to be serving clients in your animal communication business and making great money doing so, whatever that great money number is. Pick one. Right? Like you can feel that so deeply. That's a life skill that you were born with. It is a superpower. That dominant feeling of what you hold, and you are so good at it. You are excellent manifestors. I want you to start focusing on what you want and feeling everything about that is good. everything about that outcome, everything about that that is good. Does that make sense? All right. I want to talk about animals. I want to talk about animals here because they are the besties, right? Animals reflect for us our most beautiful selves all the time. They show us their beautiful selves all the time. But they see us as our best selves. We become our best in the presence of animals, right? I mean, living with 3 teenage young adult humans, they're away at college right now, one's home, but like my frustration meter goes bing bing bing. But my gosh, bring Charlotte near and I am just a different woman in a second flat, right? Like um Theo's behind my back. He makes the best back rest. I thought it might have been her. But like they remind us how we're supposed to be in flow and peaceful and spacious and in our thoughts. And they don't judge us for being ourselves, and they don't care if we're late. They don't care if we have makeup on. They don't care if we haven't showered in 4 days. They don't care if we're frustrated. They can feel when we are frustrated. They want us to feel better. They don't care if we're successful. They want us to feel better, right? But they want us to feel wonderful about ourselves. They're a reflection of us as humans in our best state and in our non-judgmental state, right? So this is another thing. As you begin manifesting, is really working on visioning and manifesting what you want, you gotta get rid of judgment. You gotta notice it. It'll be one of the things that you notice in your consciousness, and and just you're gonna get rid of it. Be like the animals. Do not judge. Right? Be like the animals. Do not judge. When we look into the eyes of our cat or our dog or our horse or turtle, or I look into the eyes of my fish, my goldfish, actually I look mostly into their mouth because that's what they do when they come up to the glass, like, oh, I just see into their soul through their big, beautiful mouth, right? Like immediately we feel love and we see the most amazing beings looking back at us. That's them, but really it's us. And that's what the animals want us to see. That's what they bring to us. That's why we partner with them. They want us to see ourselves that way. So we're going to do a meditation right now. And I'm going to ask you to just relax. And we're going to go through and go into a space in nature and meet an animal who is going to give you insight about you and what is possible for you and what may be really, really important for you to visualize and bring into your repertoire of thoughts and visions and images for what is possible for your life. Okay. So you can just sit comfortably, close your eyes, relax, uncross your arms and your legs, feel your feet on the ground. Place your hands in your lap in an open and receiving mode, and close your eyes. And just focus on your breath. Take a full deep breath and release. Take another full deep breath and release that too. With every inhalation, let it be deep, and with every exhalation, release tension in your body. Relax your eyelids, your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your hips, your legs. And picture a funnel of lavender energy circling above your head, just circling there above your head. It's this beautiful funnel of lavender energy. And that funnel opens, and that lavender energy circles down through the crown of your head, down into your neck, your chest, your shoulders, your belly, hips, legs, and down to your feet. This lavender energy is source energy. This is the oneness energy. This is your divinity. This is your source of everything. It's all one. As this lavender energy fills you and is just slowly circling through you, on the screen of your mind, picture yourself in your favorite place in nature. It might be the woods, it might be the beach, it might be a field, maybe a forest, the mountains. Maybe it's your own backyard or a park. And imagine yourself there feeling the temperature just perfect. It's your favorite temperature here in this space. And as you're there, you're breathing in the air, smelling the smells, hearing the sounds. What do you hear? What do you see? What colors, images, beautiful scenes do you see? Notice how beautiful and perfect all that is nature here in this space surrounding you. Notice the patterns in the leaves and the clouds above. Maybe you notice the rhythm of waves in the water, if there's any water. Or maybe you notice the perfect tones, the notes of the songbirds calling. Breathe in all the love and ease, joy, divine perfection of this space. Breathe in all the beauty, the grace, and the design of nature. Notice everything surrounding you. And with all of your sensing, awake, alert, aware, you notice something calling you, reaching you, asking you in a telepathic way. You might feel like a presence nearby. And this may be an animal in this space. Perhaps it's a wild animal or even a domesticated animal that you know. It may be a plant or a tree. It may be a waterway or a mountain, even the sky. It might even be a nature spirit, like a fairy or a sprite or another essence. Allow yourself to acknowledge this being, and you can move closer to it, or this being may come closer to you. This animal, this nature being, this nature spirit, whoever it may be, is coming to be your teacher, your guide, your reflector. And let them come into full vision or just full presence, even if your eyes are closed and you can't see them, just feeling them there in that space, that beautiful space in nature that you're in. Maybe you are just imagining them in your mind's eye. And notice all that you can about their presence, their physical form, their energy, their essence. Notice the perfection, notice the beauty. And allow the space in the center of your chest to open and feel connected with this being. You have a heart-to-heart connection. Imagine a golden river of light connecting your heart to theirs so that your hearts are connected and messages can flow back and forth between you easily, effortlessly, gently, completely. And you allow this animal or this nature spirit to bring you messages and insight about the questions and the topics I'm going to say next. Trust that the first thing that comes to you through your senses, through this beautiful flow of golden energy between your hearts, first thing is the right thing for you in this moment. Just right and intended for this time right now. And as I ask these questions, be open to what the animal or the nature spirit shares with you. Let it flow in for you. You may hear words, you may feel feelings, you may just get a quick flash of an idea or perhaps an emotion and a sense of full meaning. What are my strengths? And let them tell you about your strengths. Receive what they say. Next, you're going to ask, what is my greatest gift? And let this wise teacher tell you what your greatest gift is. Not theirs, but yours. They are seeing you. They are understanding you and sharing what they see about divine you. Next question. What shall I no longer judge about myself? What shall I no longer judge about myself? And what do they invite you to let go of judging about you? Next question. What am I holding on to that is not serving me? Let them tell you what you've been holding on to for so long. Next question. What is my greatest potential? And be open to receive what they say about you. What is my greatest potential? Next question. How am I like you? What do we have in common? And receive what beautiful quality you share. Next question. Is there something I can do more of? Is there anything that I can do more of? Is there anything I can do less of? And the last question. What gift can you give me to support me on my journey to my best self? What gift will you share with me and give me to support me on my journey to my best self? Mhm. And breathe in all of the wise and loving guidance and insight from this animal or this nature being. Feel gratitude and appreciation and love for them and for yourself. And gently flow that love and appreciation to their heart from yours. And allow yourself to breathe deeply and gently, taking in all that they shared with you. And slowly notice this beautiful place that you're in. And let all your senses take in the sounds, the smells, the sights, the sensations. And notice how you feel having received this wisdom from this animal, this nature being. Notice how you feel, how your body feels, how your heart feels, what emotions you feel, and what you're picturing in your mind, what thoughts you're thinking. Taking a moment to solidify these feelings is what creates that impression on ourselves and creates that vision in your mind. It allows you to hold it and call it back. And now let yourself feel your feet on the ground, feeling your body in the chair that you're in, noticing the room that you're in, feeling the energy around you in the room, whether it's plants or animals or perhaps a window or the furniture. Take a deep breath in, wiggle your fingers, stretch, and let your eyes flutter open. Hmm. I love that. So I would love to hear from you about what you experienced. What came for you? Who was your reflector? What did they share with you? Did they invite you to know about yourself or let go of or gift you? Go ahead, you can come off mute if you want to, or you can type in the chat.
Amy, did you want to go? I'm looking at the chat.
Amy says, my reflector was my first Chihuahua, Eli. He has brought me to the life I live now. Oh, yeah. My son's name is Eli. Um, Amy, what was something that he shared with you that you want to take with you on your journey to your best self, on this journey of visioning and creating what it is that you want? Did he share your strengths or what he sees as your greatest gift? And go ahead, you can type that in the chat as it comes to you. And Sophia, go ahead, you can share or you can type in the chat too.
Trying to get up mute. I was in a forest after the rain, and I liked the sounds and the smells. And I saw a being that was like a tree spirit, but a very old, that was not just a tree, it was just everything. And just very wise and very um not a real form. There was like not a form. Um and just a lot of wisdom, um a lot of wisdom, a lot of information,
Mm,
and a lot of information about the animals and the work.
mm, mhm, mhm. Were there pieces that you can include and incorporate in a vision and visualizing in your mind? You
Yes.
don't, yes, okay, great. You don't have to share what they are if you don't want to. Um, but kind of gather, receive, and allow those to become pieces of a vision that you can hold in your mind.
Okay. Yes, there were. There definitely were.
Mm, nice. Nice. Mm, thank you, Sophia.
I think Amy sent something.
Yeah, Amy, I'm seeing this here that I need to let go of my hatred for my past mistakes and use my compassion to grow. We were on
Mm,
a beach and it was calm and peaceful with seagulls. I didn't expect that to be so emotional. It brought me deep feelings of sadness, but feeling full as well. Oh, Amy, that's so beautiful. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? Like we kind of excavate this stuff out, right? And receiving that guidance, like, hey, let that go, dig it out, and create a space for something new. And that's emotional work. It's spiritual work. It's visualizing work. It's manifestation work. It's transmuting the energy, right? Like, yeah, letting things go. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for being so um, willing to share and so open and vulnerable. I really appreciate that, both of you. Amy said, I also didn't expect the words love, power, strength that all came through.
very cool.
Isn't it
Very cool.
amazing how these animals just see us in ways that we haven't yet, or we might get glimpses of, but that's it's like, we're that superhero walking around their house, and it's not just because we bring them food and treats and take them for walks, like they really see us at our as however our fullest potential,
Hmm.
you know. I love it. I love it. Um so I want to ask this. We're at 15 minutes left. That's one way to say that. um, um, we'll just take a minute and see if anybody has questions or comments that you want to ask, and then I'll tell you about what you're going to do tonight, and make sure you have what you need, and then we'll end for today. So, what's coming up for you? Thoughts, new awareness? What are you noticing?
I feel very peaceful, very grounded. And I didn't sleep well last night because Dari was up a few times. But I feel very grounded right now. And that meditation was so powerful and helpful. So thank you for that.
Welcome. Mhm.
And Amy, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I might be able to start focusing. Yay! Oh, you're welcome. Yes. Yes, you are so welcome. Of course you are, right? It's the energy. It's the animals. Of course yes, yes. So feel that feeling, like solidify that, and allow yourself, imagine yourself focusing. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Here's a piece too. Like when we're visioning, when we're holding something in our minds, um, we want to see ourselves doing it. Like it can start as you observe yourself, right? Like maybe focusing to create something. I'll just use that as an example. I don't know, focusing can mean a lot of things, but focusing time on really intentional creation, right? Or focusing time on studying something or whatever. And we can see ourselves doing it. That's kind of how it starts. But then you want to embody that being and actually see it from the inside so that you're looking through your own eyes in your vision. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
When I first wanted to do an animal communication business, when I first wanted to really do this work and help people, I started seeing myself looking at animal clients. Like I didn't see myself sitting and connecting with an animal as an observer. I started seeing myself receiving the information about a client and my phone ringing and picking up the phone and actually seeing what it was like, what I was looking at as I was working with them and helping them, getting into the vision from the first person is really, really helpful. Um, so as you bring into your vision, focusing, Amy, see what does that feel like? What does that like? Embody that in your vision so that you can then embody that as you take it into an activity or into a 10-minute span or something like that, as you're starting, or maybe a 33-hour, 20-hour span. I don't know. But yeah, I think that will help. That'll really, really help. It's very powerful.
It feels, I was just gonna say that it feels very empowering.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, oh, you're so welcome, Amy. Thank you. Really. Oh, I love this. I love doing these. Oh my gosh, I love this work so much. And I love helping people. If I can help you get your amazing juju out in the world and help you attain your goals and you know, that's why I'm here. That's what I want to do. Um, so let me tell you about the homework for tonight. And first, I want to say I really appreciate you coming. This is a 2-hour span in your day. Tomorrow is another probably hour and a half, probably not full 2 hours. And I really appreciate you coming. It's a big commitment and yeah, really beautiful. So thank you. I'm grateful for you. Um, so for tonight, what I would like you to do, I sent out, Amy, you said you got it in the email. So you got the vision board template and the workbook?
I haven't checked, but I probably did. Yeah.
If you didn't, just reach out to me.
Okay.
So there's a workbook that has some journal questions for you. Um, do the questions. Don't have gone through this whole 2 hours of really, really heart-opening, mind-opening visioning work and not do the workbook, right? Um, and you might not want to. It's introspection. It's a lot of work on the self. It's not always comfortable. Um, and just notice, right? Like just notice. We have to notice the things that we avoid because it gives us feedback about where we're at and what's in our way of getting to where we want to go. So I support you in doing the work. It's not going to take forever. It'll probably take you about a half an hour. Um, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, but half an hour. Give yourself that. And then as you go through the workbook, the template for the vision board, it's in Canva and you can just open it up and it has like pictures in it that I put in there. And then you can just drag and drop other photos from Canva you can upload your own or whatever, but you can just drag and drop and make your own vision board. You can delete the picture that's in the block and you can just put your own in there and create a digital vision board. And then you can download that and have it as your phone screensaver or your desktop screensaver. I have mine on my phone. I'll show you. Here's mine. Um, and that is for you because one of the things about visioning is we have to keep the vision in our mind's eye. Anything that we hold on this brain of the mind has to come into form by law. It will. So create a vision board. Like if you don't have a vision board, you got to get one. You got to make one. You can print it. You can stick it on your wall. Have it be your phone screensaver. I'm a good one for just sticking little crystals that remind me of something that I want to create or experience all around my house. I'm a big visual. That's also telepathy really works visually for me as well. Um, But so that's what I want for you to do tonight. It's beautiful. You're going to love it. It's so good for you. It's like vitamins in a handout. um, so, any questions?
Good.
No. All right. So that is what I have for you today. Um, I am so grateful that you were here. I am cheering for you, holding space for you. Oh, that was one of the things I wanted to say. I was doing this meditation along with you, and my animal teacher said to me that one of my strengths is you're really good at holding space.
Mm, you are. That's very true.
I was like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, cool. I could do that. And so so I hold space for you even when we break from this call to do what's going to serve you tonight for visioning, okay? And you've got the power to create anything you want in your life. Let visioning help you. Let this um, law of perpetual transmutation of energy support you. Um, and then tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon. All right?
Great. Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys. Bye, Amy.
Bye.